Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley here for Concord and Ninth. Thanks for joining me today. I'm here to introduce you and give you some inspiration featuring the brand new May 2025 release from Concord and Ninth. This release is full of fabulous, so let's get started. Allow me to introduce you to the brand new Desertscape Stamps, Dies, and Coordinating Stencils. This new bundle creates the most beautiful desert landscape scenes, and there are 3 products that help you do that. These can be used individually or together to create various looks. This is the Desertscape Stamp Set, and it features 2 large arch sentiments that will fit around either the stenciled scene or the coordinating die, and there are several smaller sub-sentiments that can be paired together to create various sentiments. I also love this little detail piece that nestles right around the corner of your stenciled scene or your die cut arch. The Desertscape die set includes several dies that will either die cut your scene on this arch or it can be used on its own. It also has several supporting pieces for your scene, and these 2 arches coordinate with those smaller sentiments in the stamp set, so you can use them with or without the dies. Finally, the Desertscape Stencil Set is where it all comes to life. This 3-piece stencil set can be used to create a beautiful ink-blended desertscape scene, and there's also a 3rd stencil which creates the elements and coordinates with the dies in the set. So here's a look at all of the dies when you die cut them. The stenciled scene will fit within this arch, and I wanted to show you the great size of it there on an A2 card front. There's also a couple of sun pieces, a couple of moon pieces, a cactus, and some greenery. And I'm going to show you how quickly you can build a scene just with the die cuts alone. If you die cut these out of colored cardstock, you can create a really great little scene. But the magic really happens when you bring in that stencil set, and I'm going to show you how to use that now. So there are 3 stencils. Stencil number 1 is this here, and it will create kind of your sky and your base ground piece. Stencil number 2 has some instructions on it. It says stencil A at the bottom first, and then you'll rotate it to stencil the other portion. I'm going to demonstrate that here in just a moment, but keep in mind these are marked and there are instructions on the stencils for using them. Stencil number 3 contains all of the elements that you need: the sun, the moon, the greenery, and that adorable cactus, which you can layer up or keep plain. So I'm going to start with a panel of A2 size cardstock. So it measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. And I am lining it up with the corner registration marks on the stencils. All of the stencils have a corner registration mark, so you can line them up and know that everything's going to fall right into place. I'm going to hold that in place with a little bit of repositionable tape. I'm just showing you there that that lines up with those registration marks. And then I'll begin ink blending. I'm starting out with the sky, and I have some aqua sky ink here, and I'm creating, just a blue area. And then I'm going to blend in some nectar along the bottom on my ground, as well as just a little bit in that sky piece. Now for stencil number 2, I'm going to follow the instructions. I'm going to line it up with the grid marks, and then I'm going to stencil the bottom portion first, or the part that's marked A on the stencil. So you'll see that I'm just lining that up, and now I'm looking at just this bottom part here, and I'm going to do a little bit of ink blending. So that's marked A on your stencil. You'll start with that, and then we'll rotate it to do the rest of the scene. So for this layer, I'm going to use spice cider, and I'm just quickly blending on some ink. Then I'm going to wipe that down, remove my stencil, and I'm going to follow the instructions. I'm just going to rotate this 180 degrees and line it up again with those registration marks that are on the stencil. That will complete my scene. And for this, I'm going to do a little grapefruit along that ground piece, and I'm going to cover the bottom piece up that I just ink blended with the grapefruit, and I'm going to do this mountain in the nutmeg ink. Now that's optional. You can do them in the same color, but look at that, how quickly that scene comes together. Now, stencil number 3 is clearly marked, and it says to be used with the coordinating dies. And so I'm lining this up again with the registration marks in the corner, and I'm starting with my greenery and blending in parsley. I'll do my 2 sun pieces in grapefruit. I'm going to do the little florals in aqua sky, and finally the moons in pebble. Then I'm going to pick this up and I'm shifting this over to add some detail to my cactus. So the little lines that create the detail are a separate little piece on that stencil, and you can see once I have all of my pieces stenciled, I can then use the coordinating dies to die cut out all of these elements to then use in my stenciled scene. So I have them all lined up here and I'll run them through my die cut machine. Now, something I want to point out is that these stencils actually create a little bit of a bleed. And so you're able to position your dies and not worry about getting them perfectly in place. I wanted to show you here that arch fits perfectly around that stenciled scene, and you just saw me build up those elements there with the scenery. So you can see the bleed here that stencil creates, and it gives you a lot of grace when you're doing your die cutting of the elements. Let's look at a couple of cards that I created with this new Desertscape Stamps, Dies, and Coordinating Stencil. You can see I stenciled out my scene here and die cut it and popped it up. I stamped the thinking of you around it and that little detail piece in the lower right-hand corner. I also die cut a little friend sentiment to add to my scenery down there. You can see that my scene is popped up. I actually die cut a second arch out of some gold cardstock and kind of offset it there to give it a little bit of shine. What a beautiful and simple card. My second card, I kind of cheated in my scenery and I used a little bit of colored cardstock to get me started with my sky. So all of my stenciling is done on that colored cardstock, and that helped me build this scene up even quicker. I started with nectar cardstock and just used the lower portions of all this scenery. I even stenciled on my sun there, and you can see I die cut my cactus from some colored cardstock instead of using the stencil, so you can mix and match the way that you use all of these elements. So there it is, an introduction to the brand new Desertscape Stamps, Dies, and Coordinating Stencils, new from Concord and 9th. I can't wait to see what you're doing with all these. It's time for an up-close and personal look at the brand new Pennant Party Stamps and Coordinating Dies. It is celebration season, and this stamp and die set couldn't have come at a better time. Whether it's graduations, birthdays, or just a simple thank you, those are all reasons to celebrate. And this Pennant Party Stamp and Coordinating Die set are going to help you do just that. So let's have a look at this big, beautiful stamp set that has all of these separate pennants on it. You can use these pennants individually or combine them together to create sentiments like, yay, you did it, hooray, you did it, thank you so much. And then, of course, you have your detail pieces, some smaller sentiments, and a large happy birthday sentiment. The coordinating die will die cut out all of those pennants no matter which way they face. There's also a couple of smaller pennants and banners that you can build up together along with a heart. And finally, this large die here perfectly cuts out that happy birthday sentiment. So here's a look at all of the die cuts when they're die cut from various colors of cardstock. You can see that stamped pennant fits perfectly on the die cut layer, as well as that happy birthday sentiment. Those smaller sentiments fit perfectly on the smaller banner dies, and you can use those to build up a fun, colorful bunting. Let's have a look at a couple of cards that I created with this set. The first one, yay, you did it, is perfect for the graduation season coming. I've stamped it in various colors and laid it on an arch that I die cut from the brand new Desertscape die set. I also used the Sunburst card front die and the Confetti Dots Turnabout stencil to add some details to this card. I love the colorful punch this card packs. Next up, I have another card. This one is a little more subdued. It uses the thank you so much banners together to create a fun card. I also brought in that so very grateful sentiment from the stamp set stamped on one of the clouds that's from the brand new Sunshine and Rainbows die set. I love that I brought the color in just on the edges of these pennants. What a fun way to use this set. So there you have it, an up-close and personal look at the brand new Pennant Party Stamps and Coordinating Dies, new from Concord and 9th for May 2025. You're going to have a great time celebrating with this stamp set, all of the occasions that are coming upon us in this season, and I can't wait to see how you all use it. It is time for a look at the Pickleball Pals stamps and coordinating die set. Where are my pickleball people? I started playing pickleball in 2020 before it was even cool. So if you're out there and you're a fan, you're going to love this large stamp and coordinating die set that you can use separately or together to create a variety of looks. The stamp set features a couple of designs that you can use to build a patterned pickleball paddle. There's also a single dot pattern as well as some stripes and of course some hilarious sentiments like "I think you're amazing." You of course have your little pickleball in there, which is perfect on the new starfruit color, and I think you're going to have a great time building up these paddles. Now the die set can also be used on its own or in conjunction with the stamp set. You have your large paddle, some small paddles, as well as some sentiments, a heart, of course, and the little circle to cut out your pickleball. We cannot live without that. So let me show you how this works. You have your large pickleball paddle base, and I have a stamp design here that I've die cut with the coordinating die, and you can just lay that right on top, stack up your grips below, and you have an adorable stamped pattern for your pickleball pattern. You can also use the good luck paddle, which you can kind of nest inside that center piece of your pickleball pattern and create a good luck paddle. We all need that when we're playing. And then of course you have your smaller paddles which layer up just the same. You have your smaller inlay piece as well as the base piece. Now, I really love the hearts that are included in this, as well as the best friends die that can be used on a variety of different card projects. And then you could just kind of stack this up and create a simple little vignette on your card as well. There's also some stripes there on the right-hand side that create a striped pickleball pattern, and you have your two pieces for your grip to build up a little bit of dimension. So let me show you how the stamp set works, because this is kind of a building stamp set. For the floral pickleball paddle, you're going to start with the large solid piece and stamp that onto your cardstock. Now, these are fairly easy to line up. You see I'm doing it with a block here, but you could use a stamp positioning tool instead. Then I have stamped the actual flower pieces and finally the floral centers. The checkerboard pattern is a similar process in that it is building, but you're going to stamp the first and then offset the second to create a fun checkerboard pattern. And then the die in the die set will die cut this part of your pickleball paddle. So I'm just going to run this through my die cut machine real quick. You'll see that there is a tiny bit of a bleed on that stamped area, so it will cut it out edge to edge, and then you can lay this on your pickleball paddle base. Build up your grip with the longer piece and then the detail piece that sits between the pickleball pattern and the grip there. It kind of just gives it a little dimension. And just like that, you have built up a stamped pickleball paddle. Isn't this adorable? Let me show it to you here. I have a couple of card examples for you. This one features two stamped paddles, that floral pattern as well as a striped pattern. Those are included in the stamp set. I have them crossed over, and then I have that bright starfruit piece of cardstock to kind of bring everything to life and bring in that pickleball color. If you've been around pickleball, you know a lot of them are bright yellow. I've laid this on an aqua sky card base that has a little bit of a quilted pattern using one of the card front dies from Concord and 9th. And of course, the "I think you're amazing" stamp there on the bottom. This was so much fun to kind of build up. I love the little hearts included in the die set, and I can't wait to give this to my hairdresser. For card number 2, I used just the die set to create my pickleball paddles, and I created some striped patterns on these paddles. I have a few of the stamped pickleballs that are popped up there along with that larger heart on that center paddle. I created kind of a faux net using the basket weave card front die and some parsley cardstock there. That was my kind of homage to the pickleball net. And you can see also I used that best friend sentiment there and pop that up. So you can see how you can use either the stamps or the dies alone to create an adorable variety of pickleball paddles. I had such a great time playing with this brand new Pickleball Pals stamp and coordinating die set. It's such a playful set that's great for a variety of occasions, including retirement. And I think you're going to have a really fun time creating with this set too. It's time for me to introduce you to the brand new Roll With It Stamps and Dies. And if there was anything that ever took me back to my childhood and roller skating in the driveway, pretending I was Christy Yamaguchi, it is this brand new Roll With It Stamps and Coordinating Die Set, new from Concord and Ninth. This is a large die set, and you can see there are pieces here to create a large roller skate with pink wheels, of course, because that's what I grew up skating on. And there's also the dies to create a smaller skate as well. You have some detail pieces like some stars and some hearts and this little rainbow pattern, as well as some different colors for the soles. So this is a lot of fun to kind of mix and match and try different colorful skate patterns. Now, in addition, the Roll With It stamp set has some great sentiments. These curved sentiments are designed to fit around the curve of the boot of the skate. So they have an intentional design. You also have that life is cool and so are you, the stay golden, which coordinates with the circle stamp in the die set. And of course you have your hearts and stars, which will also coordinate with the die set. So here's a look at all of those pieces die cut from various colors of cardstock here. You have your pieces for your large skate as well as your pieces for your smaller skate. And I want to show you how quickly these come together. So I'm grabbing a piece of cardstock here so we can kind of build up this larger skate. You're going to start with your base piece, your wheels, and your brake at the front. You'll then add your solid boot and then the boot with the lace holes right on top. I've also pre-added the little piece at the back towards the ankle area. This allows you to add some color to the soles. And then of course you have your laces, which you'll glue right there along with the little bow. And that is exactly how you build that smaller skate as well. So both of these come together pretty quickly. Now, I had to go back to my childhood with the white skate and the pink wheels, so that's exactly what I did here. I cut that wheelbase from some Concord and Ninth silver glitter cardstock along with the laces. You can see the center of the wheels are also silver glitter with a little silver metallic drop on top. And I've die cut that little rainbow pattern and put that towards the heel side of the skate, which I think looks adorable. And I stamped the Keep Shining Like a Superstar stamp because, you know, I did want to be Christy Yamaguchi. So that is card number 1. That features the large skate. And for card number 2, I featured a lot of colorful small skates. I built a pattern with those and I die cut the wheelbase from some matte gold cardstock along with some stars that I sprinkled throughout there. And you can see I used that Stay Golden stamp and coordinating die to add just a simple greeting. And I also added gold metallic enamel dots to the centers of the wheels to bring in a little more of that metallic accent. So there it is, the Roll With It stamps and coordinating dies, brand new from Concord and Ninth. So much fun, so nostalgic for those of you who grew up in those old school skating rinks. We still have one here and I still love to skate, and I think you're gonna love creating with these products. The new simple pop-up dies from Concord and Ninth are a great way to make any card project pop inside or outside. These simple pop-up dies are built on a basic pop-up concept, but this takes all of the guesswork and all of the measuring out of creating those pop-up cards. So you can see you have 6 separate pop-up dies here. The dies not only create the strips that you need, but place the score lines perfectly spaced. And you can see there's a variety of different depths included in this die set. So you have some that will make things pop up more and some that will be a little bit lower loft. So I've die cut all of these to show you here. And once you've die cut them, you will have your score lines. It's kind of hard to see in the video here, but all of the score lines are created for you when you die cut these elements. And I wanted to quickly show you how to use these to create a pop-up feature on the outside of your card. Now, keep in mind, you can use these to create a pop-up feature on the inside fold of your card as well. So I have this rainbow here, which I've made with the Sunshine and Rainbows die set. Because it's a larger die, I have die cut 2 of the strips. But if you have something that's a little bit smaller, you can get away with just 1 of these strips. You'll determine the size of strip that you need based on the size of the element and the amount of loft that you want. So you can see I'm starting here by folding on all of the score lines created by the die. These will eventually kind of adhere together to create like a little cube type thing. I like to reinforce my fold lines with a bone folder just to make sure I get a nice crease on all of those edges. And now once I have all of those reinforced, I am going to fold this into a cube. You'll see that one side is shorter than the other. That's the side that I'm going to add liquid glue to. So that shorter tab, I'm going to add some liquid glue to that and then tuck it right underneath the tab that's a little bit longer and adhere that together, creating kind of this little box or cube. Now I like to use some reverse grip tweezers to hold that in place as it sets up, and I'm going to repeat this process for a second strip here. Now I decided to do 2 because I want one on each side of my rainbow. And I am giving you an example here of the pop-up strips used on the outside of a card, but keep in mind you can use these on the inside fold of the card as well to create a surprise pop-up element on the inside of the card. So I'm following the same process that I did before, folding on all the score lines, reinforcing with my bone folder, and then adhering that together to create this little cube. Now, the great thing about a simple pop-up like this is that when it folds flat, it is really flat. So there's not a ton of dimension, and this makes these cards perfect for mailing. So you can see I have my 2 cubes now. I have the seam side facing towards my work surface. And on the top of these cubes, I'm going to add some liquid glue and adhere them to the back of my rainbow here. So you can see once I get them lined up parallel with the bottom of the rainbow, I'm going to fold them flat and allow them to adhere. So I only have adhesive on the top part of that box, adhering them to the rainbow. That's going to allow these to pop up and down as needed. So once they're adhered to the back of my rainbow, then again, I am going to take and add some liquid glue to the top of my box again. So these are facing upward. I'm adding some liquid glue to the top of that box, and then I will add this rainbow onto my card project. I like to kind of adhere it with it in the popped up position to make sure that it's where I want it when it kind of comes out of the envelope, and then push it flat to kind of adhere everything in place. And you can see that this truly does lay very flat so it can go inside of an envelope. Now, obviously, my rainbow hangs off the edge of my card, but I could put this in a larger envelope. And when it comes out of the envelope, this will then pop up to create that very dimensional rainbow feature. You can see that this actually gives me a ton of loft on this rainbow, and it's pretty sturdy there, but it folds flat to go in an envelope. Now, in order to use these simple pop-up dies on the inside of a card project, you're going to tuck one of those cubes right into the fold line of the center opening of your card, and then you can attach your image, your stamped and die cut image, to the front side of that cube, and it will create a pop-up effect on the inside of the card. So let's have a look at a couple of cards that I created using these simple pop-up dies. You can see I used the new Sunshine and Rainbows die set, and I have a ton of loft on this, but all of this will fold flat in order to fit inside of an envelope. You can see it's all contained on the front side of the card, and then this pops up. You can even place this on display so that that rainbow and clouds and sunshine are kind of just like leaping off the front of the card at you. Now, I created a second one with this Window Wishes stamp and coordinating die set. This one has a little bit less loft, so I've used a pop-up die from that set that has a little less loft, but nevertheless, you have plenty of dimension there, and this folds flat to put inside of a card project. I love that everything you need to know about these dies is right in the name of the product. Simple pop-ups. I mean, how much easier can it get to create all this dimension and all this loft and have it lay flat to go in an envelope than these simple pop-up dies? I can't wait to see you all make your card projects pop with these brand new dies. It's time for an up-close and personal look at the brand new Sunshine and Rainbows die set, new from Concord and Ninth. You are going to love this die set, which features, you guessed it, sunshine and rainbows, but there's a couple of different sizes in here, which makes this die set very versatile. You can see that this is a large die set, and you have your solid base piece for both the large and small rainbows, as well as the piece that creates your colored bows to place on top. The same thing is true of that smaller rainbow, and there's also several elements to help you build up your scene, like that Hello Sunshine sentiment with coordinating shadow layer, a couple of different size suns, and of course, all of those fabulous clouds as well. There's even a You Made My Day die cut sentiment that fits perfectly around the arch of that large rainbow. So this large rainbow, as you can see, this is it on an A2 size card front. It is large. It can hang off the front of an A2 card. It's also the perfect opportunity to make a hinged element on a vertical A2 size card. And just so we can get a really good idea of sizing, this is the smaller rainbow on an A2 size card front. I'm of course using the bases here. And then again, I wanted to show you that You Made My Day sentiment. I love die cutting my clouds from some white glitter cardstock and the suns from some matte gold foil cardstock. But I quickly wanted to show you a great way to build up these rainbows. I like to start with my base piece and either start with the top arch and work down, or the centermost arch and work out. So you can then line up the bottoms of these arches with the bottom of your base piece and kind of wiggle them into place. I do recommend some liquid adhesive that will help you get a little bit of slip and slide and allow you to get these arches right into place on the base piece. You can see I started at the center on this one and I'm working my way out. And this process is the same process that you'll want to use on that smaller rainbow as well. Trust me, I've tried it. It's just better this way. So I'm working on my third arch here, and I'll finish off with that fourth arch. By the way, my daughter put these colors together. Didn't she do an amazing job on that color combination for this rainbow? So citrusy, I just love it. Now, once you get your rainbow put together, you have a great element for your card. You can cut it apart, use it whole, and then you can use all of the various clouds or the You Made My Day die cut sentiment and kind of decorate this up. I also wanted to show you that this Hello Sunshine sentiment fits perfectly in the center of the rainbow, but it also looks great kind of overlapped with the edge of the rainbow. So here's a look at one of the cards that I created with this new Sunshine and Rainbows die set. It is a pop-up card, and it features the brand new Simple Pop-Ups die set from Concord and Ninth, which allows this to lay flat, to go in an envelope. It's easy to mail. But you can see I've combined the rainbow and I've kind of trimmed off the edge to put it on this vertical A2 size card. And then I layered it up with some glitter clouds, a creamsicle sunshine, and of course that big, beautiful watermelon heart there. I even added some watermelon enamel dots to that grouping there. The Hello Sunshine is die cut from some matte silver cardstock from Concord and Ninth and laid on a vellum layer. I did use the cloudy double front card cover die from Concord and Ninth to create a cloudy background and ink blended a little bit of aqua sky on the bottom of those glitter clouds to give them a little blue hue. My second card features multiple of the smaller rainbow. You can see I used that bow die to kind of press into the base die to create a dimensional effect. These are not separate pieces. That's just an impression made with the die. And then I assembled that colorful rainbow there to put in the center of my card. The happy birthday is from the brand new Desertscape Stamps and Coordinating die set. And this is the perfect colorful little birthday card. Concord and Ninth has so many great examples of this new die set on their site, so be sure to check there for more inspiration. But if I had to guess, I bet your brain is already bursting with possibilities with this brand new Sunshine and Rainbows die set. Allow me to introduce you to the brand new Window Wishes Stamps and Coordinating Dies. These are brand new from Concord and Ninth, and they are so much fun. This product bundle includes a large die set along with a smaller sentiment and detail stamp set. You can use these separately or together to create a variety of different looks. So let's have a look at the die set. You have everything you need to create an adorable window, including the frame, the shutters, the window box, all of the plants, and then of course a fabulous sentiment die that coordinates with these arched sentiments in the stamp set. You also have some bricks that you can stamp or die cut and place on the front of your card, and some smaller kind of blockier style sentiments for your card project. So this is a look at all of the dies when they're die cut. You have your window frame base along with the portion that creates kind of the window panes. There's even a smaller frame that you can die cut a couple of times and inlay over that window pane to create kind of like those slide up windows, kind of like we have in our house, but that really brings it to life. The shutters include these long pieces along with the kind of molding or detail pieces that you can place on top to create a dimensional effect. And that planter box works in the same way. So you have the large base of the planter box along with that detail piece that brings a little dimension to this. And I love how Concord and Ninth always thinks of the little things that help bring these die sets to life. Now, once you assemble your window box, you can take any of these plants and kind of tuck it into the window box. And the plants are designed to kind of have these edges that are already die cut that allow them to hang over the edge of the window box. So you see how that leaf is cut out there? You can nestle this right onto the back of the window box. And all of these are like this so that you can create a really like realistic effect. It looks like they're spilling out of that window box. Once you have your plants in your window box, you can add some of these leaves to create an even more dimensional effect, or the little florals to add a pop of color. And these all come together so beautifully. So here's a look at a card that I created with this, along with the simple pop-up dies, which is part of this new release as well. This is a pop-up card. You can see this window will lay flat and then pop up. I have combined this with some dies from the Door Decor die set, which was previously released from Concord and Ninth. So that greenery, that long greenery piece is from the Door Decor. Also that hello banner. So look in your stash. You may have some Concord and Ninth dies that coordinate really well with this. I think the wreath or the lights from the little house set could be really fun for the holidays. I've used the wood slat embossing folder on the front of my card to give it some texture, and I've stamped that home is wherever I'm with you sentiment and die cut that for a sentiment along the bottom of my card. Now, my second card is a shaker card. I have used this Window Wishes die set to create a shaker window on my card and then laid the window pieces over the top of it. I thought this was a really fun way to use this. And of course, I have that arched banner, "You Feel Like Home," and a little heart there for my card. I've also stamped some of those bricks on my card front. So there you have it, a couple of cards with some inspiration featuring the brand new Window Wishes stamps and coordinating dies. These are brand new from Concord and Ninth. They are so fun to play with, and I cannot wait to see all of your fabulous ideas featuring these new stamps and dies. Thanks for joining me today for this look at the brand new May 2025 release from Concord and Ninth. These products are available now over at concordandninth.com. I hope you enjoyed this video, and most of all, I hope you were inspired. Until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.